Let's talk about what's going on at the Department of Homeland Security. So the only reason we know about what the Department of Homeland Security is doing is because the American Civil Liberties Union actually filed a lawsuit through a Freedom of Information Act request to find out, like, what the heck are you guys actually doing with American phone data? Are you tracking us? Are you surveilling us? What are you actually looking into?
What do you need that for?
Right. And so what did they find?
They found, in fact, new documents out show that the Department of Homeland Security has been collecting not just data, but also location point data across North America on more than 336,000 data points. So what does this mean? It means that when you are going out and about and your cell phone pings towers in order to, let's say, do a Google search about the closest Taco Bell or what have you, right? That cell phone pings a tower to figure out exactly where it is. And those location data points are collected and governments have interest in them. Now, why would a government have interest on whether or not you're looking for a Taco Bell, right? This goes beyond just location search, location data. It's a collective, right? It's a collective to something that you most likely did not agree to, but paid for because it points out that the Customs and Border Protection renewed a contract for this software, meaning the ability to continue to collect this data for $20,000. The contract ended in September 2021, but the government tax dollars renewed it. So you're paying for this.
So here's the ACLU's breaking news tweet on this about what they said. Breaking news, the Department of Homeland Security is quietly buying and using huge volumes of our cell phone location data to track us without a warrant. And we just dropped the DHS records showing how they've been trying to dodge our right to privacy. So I went through these documents and I mean, it's unbelievable. So let's just pull this up here on the screen. This is the ACLU, and if you can link to the documents, you can go through it, you can read it if you want to. Thousands of previously unreleased records illustrate how government agencies sidestep our Fourth Amendment rights. So how the Customs and Border Protection, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, other parts of the Department of Homeland Security sidestepping our basic human Fourth Amendment rights against unreasonable government searches and seizures by buying access to and using huge volumes of people's cell phone location information quietly extracted from smartphone apps. So to your point, like, how does this exactly work? Well, you know, Edward Snowden, of course, knows all about this. He was asked during a conference on the Electronic Frontier Foundation about how this stuff works, because you think, okay, if I turn off location services, right,
Yes.
I'll be fine. If I turn off location services, if I turn off, I don't know, other tracking things on the phone.
No, that's not true because the GPS remains on in many cases.
Yeah, well, even if I do, okay, so most people don't know how to turn that off, but like, okay, if I do turn off the GPS, if I do turn off location services, this is what Edward Snowden says will happen anyway. Watch.
The network know where you're at when you got location services turned, right? You know, when you have Wi-Fi turned off, when you have Bluetooth turned off, when you have GPS turned off, but you're still connected to the network, right? Well, you're registering to the nearest cell phone tower to you, saying, here I am, here I am. Your phone is constant screaming out at you. Here I am, here I am. Is there a cell phone tower that hears me? And the cell phone tower goes, I hear you. You create a handshake, and then whoever owns that cell phone tower enters you into a register. It can be a home register if that's where you're frequently in the network. It can be a visitor register if you're like off. But then they share this upstream. The phone globally knows where all phones are at all times. That's how they can signal to each other wherever you are, right? And location services doesn't turn that off because it can't turn that on.
So didn't we hear from Mayorkas, who is the head of the Department of Homeland Security, Mayorkas saying when we were talking about the Disinformation Governance Board, right? We heard about that, right? Where he was saying, absolutely, the Department of Homeland Security will not monitor U.S. citizens. That's not something that we're going to do, right? This was the headline, right? This was the New York Post headline. He said in that congressional testimony, we are not going to monitor U.S. citizens. That's what he was telling us.
Well, I think that he was talking about not monitoring our social media accounts to figure out whether or not we're sharing disinformation, right?
Okay. Oh, good.
Not necessarily our but the location. So they won't follow you on Twitter, but they will follow you on your phone, like your physical body,
Right.
but not your Twitter account. Does that make you feel better?
No, it doesn't. And, you think about being used for nefarious purposes. We
Sure.
saw, like the CDC, right, having access to phone data. And we found out, of course, that they were tracking Americans, right? They were tracking Americans to find out where lockdowns and how they could manipulate people.
Yes.
Control, right? It's all about control. It's all about how can we monitor and know what you're doing at all times and be able to track that, catalog that. The other day, of course, there's now concerns about the license plate reading cameras that are up, going across state borders. If you need a medical procedure, tracking your every movement in the United States. We already see this in other parts of the world, right? Tracking every
Yes.
movement in the city of London and other places. But now, without your permission, tracking your whereabouts on your cell phone. And then, by the way, but on top of that, you paying for it out of your tax dollars.
Yeah, I'm interested in this money bit of it, right? Because as many cybersecurity reporters have reported that many government agencies buy access to either a list of these types of things, which is what we're reporting right now, right? Which is just a list of location information, or separately, they buy software that allows them to do it themselves. The problem is that these programs are often sold on a dark market or a nefarious market or a market that is not on the up and up. You can't find it on eBay, or like it's not available to us, right? Unless we had millions and millions of dollars. So if you're the FBI and I'm the CIA and David, you're the Department of Homeland Security, we all can go to the same bad guys, or I don't want to call them bad guys, but the same, not on the up and up guys, right?
What are you talking about? The data brokers? The
Data
software?
brokers,
Yeah.
right? Who operate off the grid. It's a don't ask, don't tell. We don't know who buys this stuff, right? And so this, let's call Philip the ne'er-do-well, the data broker, right?
Yay.
So all three of us can go to Philip and buy this list in a covert way. And I don't know that I've bought it, Clayton's bought it, and David have all bought either the list or the software. And we are all replicating this either software or list with American taxpayers. So many times American taxpayers pay for these programs or lists in duplicate.
So there's a couple of questions here. I see a lot of people saying this in our chat room, and I'd love to hear from our viewers right now. Would you be able to survive? I know the answer at the basic level is yes, you would be able to survive if you didn't have a cell phone anymore. No cell phones anymore. No, I shouldn't say that. No smartphones anymore. You couldn't survive. Would you be able to survive without a smartphone?
Or could you have one and only ever leave it at home? Right.
I think I could.
Yeah. I don't know. It'd be interesting. But now the new version of iOS that's currently in beta 4, it's being worked on this summer. It's in version 4 right now. It'll be out by September, right? So all developers are in the middle of working on this new iOS right now. Then again, I have it on my phone because I always love to test all the new betas that they just announced. The new version of Apple's iOS, which was just rolled out on beta 3 last week, has a new mode called lockdown mode. And it specifically says, hey, if you're a person, you're a politician, you're a journalist, you're somebody else, they're sick and basically Apple's we are sick and tired of finding out that one of these data brokers has managed to find a backdoor into iMessage or something else. So now in this new lockdown mode, you can go into settings and click on lockdown mode. And it'll disable a lot of stuff so that it basically protects you from these data brokers and puts it into basically Julian Assange mode or Edward Snowden mode. It's really interesting.
But that acts as a personal challenge to hackers, right? And that's why you see companies like Microsoft or Apple or Yahoo hosting these hackathons, because they want people to hack in the open in order to figure out where's the vulnerability so that they can go fix it. Not all hacks happen in this friendly conference room, right?
So Apple on this new lockdown mode is offering a $2 million bug bounty. If anyone can break it, they'll give them $2 million.
Which is
a lot of money.
Yes, but probably commensurate with what someone could get for that hack on the black market.
Yeah, if the NSO
actually probably cheap for what if somebody could actually hack lockdown mode, it's worth more than $2 million on the market.
Yeah,
not probably. It
right.
is.
It is.
So $2 million is cheap for what they can get.
Because of the NSO group and the Pegasus and make the Pegasus software that that they use to spy and go after people. Yeah, I mean, this is probably worth more. It's frightening though. It's frightening to think that the only reason we even learn about this is through a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit. Like that's the only reason we find out about this stuff.
It's not because of warrants. They're certainly not. And by the way, for that type of thing.
And this is what the ACLU should be doing, right? Over the past few years, the American Civil Liberties Union has gone off the rails. But in my opinion, finally, like this is something that the American Civil Liberties Union actually should be doing, looking into violations of American civil liberties. And we're told that this is something the government doesn't do, a violation of our Fourth Amendment rights. These are all things that if you're in America, you should absolutely be writing to a member of your member of Congress and demanding an inquiry into this and and an end to this type of thing. This is unconscionable in my opinion. So let us know your thoughts on this. Would you guys be able to survive without a smartphone? I love the idea because I see a bunch of people saying, why don't we just all get off smartphones?
Yes.
In our chat? Can you guys do it? Could we do it? I don't know. I mean, think about it, right? Go back to a landline. Gene says, go back to a landline. Levi J says, I got rid of my cell phone a couple of years ago. Wow. What if you got one of those, just like one of the little flip phones, Could you do that?
I don't know. I'm sort of running down my day for the things that I used it for today. For instance, like I took my daughter to an allergist and I needed her medical insurance number. And I keep that on my phone, like it's in my Apple Wallet, right? So I double click the side and like, there it is. So sure, I could just bring the card. Okay. I'm just thinking of like all the ways that I plan out my day. And I think I've got this, this, and this, and I've got it on my phone. So I'm all good.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could do that. My mom had it that way. So.
Well, we had it that way for most of our life. Absolutely. Everyone's saying, Eugene says, no, he couldn't. I don't know. A lot of people saying, yeah, I don't use a cell phone. Other people saying, yes, audiobook Treasures says, yes, it would be refreshing. I know it really would be. You probably wouldn't have like the carpal tunnel in your arm anymore too, from like the thumb typing and all of, I don't know.
Yeah.
David's dead quiet, so clearly he would not be able to handle that. There's no way.
I can't go back to the corded phone, like where you're laying on the bed, on the edge of the bed, and you're twirling the cord in your finger,
Right.
Talking to your
best friends.
Yeah. Yeah, Billy I can't believe what Billy said today, I used to sit there with I sit and talk to my friend Andy all night. We watch Letterman together. Like, be like, hey, did you turn on Letterman? He'd be like, yeah, I got it on. Be like, all right, we'll sit there and like laugh together on the corded phone,
I used to have this trick with my. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I used to have this trick with my boyfriend because he wasn't supposed to call me. So I would pick up the phone and call like popcorn. And then I'd get a call on the other line. So it wouldn't ring. So I would be like, I'll call popcorn at 11 o'clock.
What's popcorn?
Like the time lady.
Wait, I don't know that.
It's at the tone. Pacific Daylight Time will be 7:02. Beep.
Wow.
So anyway,
I remember those.
I would call the time lady.
It wasn't called popcorn where I was.
And then he'd call in so that my parents wouldn't hear the phone ring.
Wow.
But yeah, this was a hack back in the 90s.
Nefarious.
You guys.
Let us know in the chat.
And I got to be the bad guy in your role play. Come on, you should have been the bad guy in the role play.
I know, right?
So evil. So evil. What
so
do you
remember when we used to call into the radio shows back when you had your phone and you'd dedicate a song to a girl or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Call in on the dial phone.
WRFY FM, Reading, Pennsylvania. Rock Hits Y102. What's your dedication? This one's going out to Valerie, my 6th grade girlfriend. I'd like to dedicate this Bon Jovi song to you. Living on a Prayer.
Now, though, like, if there's a song that makes you think of somebody, you just sort of share it. It's a very different experience.
Text them the song.
Text them the song.
Way different.
Yeah, totally different. Thank you so much for subscribing to our channel. We've been banned, we've been blocked, we've been censored. That's why we started our own website to stay connected with you for free.
That's right. So head on over to redacted.inc and make sure you're connected with us. You can sign up again at redacted.inc, not .com.